Hello guys, welcome to MTG Explains. As we all know, the October season on MTG Arena is coming to an end soon, and I just wanted to share my experiences I had during this season. I hope it ended well for all you guys. I know we still got a couple days to go, so hopefully it continues to go well for us. But I just wanted to go ahead and talk to what I did this season. Normally I focus on the constructed side of Arena. This time around, I went ahead and started to play more limited. I wanted to see if I could climb the limited ladder up to Mythic rank. And as you can see, playing in the background is my final game I played on Limited before I reached Mythic. So I did obtain the Mythic rank this season. Now, I just wanted to go over some of the tips and things that I learned on my way up the ladder to Mythic. And these are pretty basic tips, but it doesn't hurt to say them, as I kind of learned some of them on my way while I was playing this month. So I just wanted to share my experiences. So the first tip is you have to be good at limited. Alright? If you're not good at making decks on the spot, then you probably shouldn't play in limited formats. It's important that you're good at limited, otherwise you will just be spending endless amounts of gems trying to climb this ladder. If you're just losing games, because the thing about limited versus constructed is limited, you have to spend gems in order to move up the ladder, because you got to be able to play in the drafts in order to get ranked play. So right now, the only way you can get ranked in limited is via drafts. So you have to be good in limited, otherwise you'll be wasting a lot of gems. It might seem, this is pretty basic, tip here, but just you don't want to be wasting a lot of money, because gems can cost real life money, or it could take a long time for you to earn those in game. And the only way you can actually really earn gems in game normally is typically through drafts, right? So you have to be good at drafts to win more gems. So for me, I'm pretty good at drafts. So this isn't, for me to move up to Mythic in limited didn't really cost me that much, because I just kept, every time I'm playing the drafts, as long as I'm doing well enough, I'm making my gems back every time. Of course, you're gonna have a bad draft here and there, right? You might not make it all back, but you might be able to, lower the losses. So maybe you only lose 100 gems, or you might only lose 200 to 300, things like that, right? So you might be able to lower the cost as long as you're winning games in the limited format. So being good at it is key, especially if you don't want to be spending a lot of money, because it's better if you can just continuously play and keep making those gems back, because then the cost isn't that bad for you if you can just keep making those gems back. So for me, I typically get maybe around five or six wins during a draft, so that pays for the draft pretty much. Maybe sometimes cost the draft itself only cost me like 100 gems and things like that, right? So you're gonna want to keep that in mind if you're trying to plan on climbing the limited ladder, is the cost. Because in constructed, you could just keep playing, rank play. Doesn't cost you anything. As long as you have the cards, you can just keep playing. So keep that in mind. Second tip is you're gonna want to play limited games in sets that you know very well and you're actually good at drafting. Not all the sets are available at a time, so you're gonna want to make sure that you are picking sets that you're good at. If you're good at M21, but there's Eldoran draft up, you don't want to be probably playing the Eldoran draft. You probably want to play the M21 if it's available, right? So make sure you're playing the sets that you're good at if you're trying to move up rank, and you're not just trying to get the rares in the pack. If you're literally playing limited to move up rank, play in the sets that you're good at, not the ones you need more cards in, not those ones. Play the ones you're good at. And that brings me to tip number 3. You're gonna want to play in the quick drafts over the premier drafts. Now that being, the reason why is because the premier drafts cost 1,500 gems, while the quick draft only costs 750. So if all you care about is moving up rank, you don't care about getting all the extra packs on premier draft, you don't care about actually drafting with real humans, the quick draft is going to be better, because you can get the same amount of games that you will in a premier draft with half the price. And when you're trying to move up the ladder, you're just trying to play more ranked games. So you're going to want to play the quick draft if you can. You save a lot of gems that way. You'll be playing twice as many drafts as you would be able to do if you're playing the premier draft. So keep that in mind. try to play the quick drafts. You will save money, you'll get more games in, and that's what you need. That's the key. You need to be able to play more games, and especially on a limited amount of gems. If you don't have a lot of gems, it's better to play the quick draft if you can. Now, occasionally, you might be better on the set that the Premier Draft's on. If you're confident enough in that set to play there and you think you're going to get your money back, or your gems back in this case, go, by all means, you can play those Premier Drafts. If you're really confident, like let's say if you're really good at throwing the Eldraine and it's in Premier Draft, it's 9 quick draft, but let's say the quick draft is Theros, but you're really bad at Theros, then it's probably better to play the Premier Drafts because you're good at that. You'll be able to get your gems back regardless, hopefully, and you'll be able to win, right? And that's what matters too. It's winning. As long as you win games, you will move up that ladder. And if you get the gems back, it doesn't really matter that it costs double. So again, you're gonna want to pay attention to the sets and which ones you're good at. For example, for this season, the quick draft recently was Theros, and I played a lot of Theros, but they opened up Throne of Eldraine Premier Draft, right? And I'm pretty good at drafting Throne of Eldraine, so I played a few games in Throne of Eldraine just to get some of those wins on that draft. I ended up going back to Theros just because the cost of the gems were a little bit higher on like again on the Premier drafts. It's double the gems. So if you have a bad draft, which I think I had a bad draft, that ends up costing you a good amount of gems. So you can jump there, but you do have that risk of the additional cost. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to climb the ladder on limited. And this brings me to tip number 4. I kind of already touched on this a little bit, but again, when you're drafting to move up in rank, you don't want to be drafting for rares, right? You don't want a rare draft, right? You don't want to just pick up all the cards that you need. You want to focus on picking up the cards that are actually good for your deck. So if you're planning on moving a rank, go into that draft knowing I'm not going to draft all the rares. I am drafting the cards that are good for my deck. Now, granted, some rares are good for your deck; those are good. But let's say you get to the third pack and you pull, a Mythic, white card, but your deck is green, blue, right? And there's no reason you can't even splash it in, right? Sometimes you might be able to splash it in, but let's say there's no way you can use it. No point in drafting that card if you're not going to use it in your deck. No point, right? And you might need the card or whatnot, but if you're really trying to move up rank, try to draft cards that are good for your deck, which is also another good reason when you're trying to move up the rank, you play in drafts that you're not trying to get all the cards in the set. You're literally just playing to move up rank, and you'll do a lot better if you're not rare drafting. And that brings me to my final tip. This tip is not the best, most obvious tip or something you'll use very often. I didn't have to use it, but I did notice something. Some people might not know this. On Arena, on your draft, there is a resign button. So you can actually resign your draft if you want to. So that may be useful. Let's say you get a really bad draft, you play the first 2 games or something, you lose both games, you don't think this deck is good at all, you can't win with it. Better just to resign that draft, start a new one, than to play and keep losing with that deck, to play gain and lose, because that costs you ranking, right? So you can lose rank on that. So you really don't think the deck is good, you might want to just resign it. Now, again, that's probably a very rare case. You're probably not going to use that very often. I never used it. I just thought it was an interesting feature I noticed when I was climbing up the ladder here, that there is a resign button if you need it. But that is all, guys. That's all the tips I had. Those are my 5 tips on what I learned on climbing a rank in Limited. And let me know what you guys think of those tips. And also, after I finish Mythic, I am in the top 1200, so I'll be potentially playing in the Mythic qualifier in November. So if that's the case, I've been a little bit out of touch with Constructed. So if you guys have any standard tips or standard decks that I should be looking at, or I should play, maybe I consider playing, just drop those in the comment. Let me know, because I really appreciate that, guys. What decks you guys think are best in standard? Because I may need to look at a lot of the new decks coming out and utilize those. So let me know what your guys' favorite standard decks are, and what you guys recommend me playing in the Mythic qualifier. in November if I maintain in the top 1200 Mythic rank. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you guys. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel if you continue liking this content. And we appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks.